and I'll be back in just a little bit.
Okay. Hello, Cynthia.
Hi there.
You're the first one to show up so far.
Well, here comes some more people.
Yay. I love having big classes so I can teach lots of people. Share my info with as many as possible. Hello, John. All right. We're going to wait till about 5 or so after and let as many people come on as we can.
Hi. I am technically at work, so if I have to leave, please don't take any offense.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so thank you.
Hi, Lyra. Or is it Lyra or Lyra?
It's long eye, Lyra. Hey,
Lyra.
again.
We're going to wait a few more minutes and then we'll get started. Kat is eating dinner and will be back with us in just a few minutes. Has everybody been doing okay? Can nod or say?
Oh, yeah.
Staying indoors, staying safe.
Yeah.
Well, not completely indoors. I have gotten out here and there, got to the track, but I like wear a mask everywhere I go. So
I was at the eye doctor today and he had a mask on and I had a mask on, so we were good.
yeah.
I even wear gloves when I go out because I don't know what other people have touched.
Right. I deliver for Uber Eats like 3 or 4 nights a week, just for 2 or 3 hours at the most. And when I go in to pick something up, I try not to touch counters or anything other than the door handle, you know. And that right there is enough. And I originally was trying to find gloves and couldn't find anybody at that time who had any. I probably could now, but
Yeah.
So
I mean,
anyway,
even before all of this, I was always wearing gloves like when I went and got gas, because those pumps are nasty dirty.
yeah, a lot of them are. I don't know if they clean them now or not. So
I actually saw one place that they actually were cleaning the gas pumps.
the handles on them, yeah. The handles and the keys that you press and all that kind of stuff.
Our grocery store was doing that and still does.
Well, that's cool.
I thought so.
I tell you, in terms of grocery stores, who's been really good is HEB. HEB
And
Central.
Brookshires.
Okay, I don't know anything about Brookshire's. I mean, I know who they are, but we don't have them around here. So
We had my HEB is 2 hours away, so Brookshires is the next best thing.
okay.
We only have a Brookshires in the town I'm in. That's our only grocery store.
Where are you at, Cynthia?
So I am currently in Hamilton, Texas.
Oh, you're way down there.
So
All right.
I will be here for about another 6-7 weeks, and then I move to Austin.
Well, you're still in the kingdom.
Oh, yes. I'm glad to be back in Ostera. I was up in the Middle Kingdom for 3 years. So
Well, welcome back.
thank you.
Have you lived in Austin before?
Oh, yes. Yes, I lived in Austin for about 4 years. And I've also lived up in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston. So I lived in various parts of the state.
A few more minutes. I'm trying to, because Kat told me sometimes people come on kind of late. So I'm trying to give people time to finish dinner or whatever and get on. What you working on, Kel?
Um,
Oh, a quilt. Okay, cool.
this is probably about 50 years old that my mother did by hand
Mm-hmm.
and then passed it on to me, and I am hand stitching the edges for my daughter.
Cool.
So
Those are always nice things to pass down.
exactly. I've got baby clothes from when my mother was a child. 82 now.
I think she froze.
Yeah, I think you froze up, Kel. Mine was doing that with Court the last time or two that I tried to watch Court, and it was just so frustrating. He kept stopping and starting, so I'd miss a name, or I'd miss what it was for, what the award was for, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, got a brand new granddaughter, was born on Sunday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. She was on last night. I got to show pictures last night.
The
So
little ones are always such a joy.
they're like kittens and puppies, and then they get big.
Yeah.
I used to tell my baby sister, you were cute when you were little. Oh, she hates that. But she was cute. She was just adorable. And I show her pictures and like, see, that's what you're talking about. Isn't that cute? Yeah, it's cute. And then she had a son. And I say, you see him? See how he's cute and he's little? Yeah. Of course now he's like 6'3", you know. I think he's still a cool kid, but yeah.
My husband's grandson is, I think, 6'8".
Oh,
His mother's 6'2", and his grandpa's 6'5". So it runs in the family.
yeah.
It doesn't run. It strolls around and Gets to know everybody personally.
Well, just another minute or two. I've got some images I'm going to try and show you, and I'm not real good with technology, so we'll see how it goes.
Probably in a minute or two, I'm going to mute you myself and mute you guys and deal with something work related, and I'll try to get back.
Okay. You know, do what you got to do. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and start. I hate waiting. I'm not a patient person in some ways. Let me just start off. I was going to start talking about the award levels at first, just to, you know, you probably know what they are, but I want to kind of cover that. There's 3 levels to our awards. The first level is what we call an Armigius level, and that is your award of arms, your AOA, which is usually the first award most people get. And then you have in that same rank, because you have to think of it kind of in 3 ranks, that rank includes the sable thistle, which is for a specific art or craft or whatever, art or science. The sable crane, which is for service. And I believe it's the sable talon that is for the martial arts. Okay, so that's your basic. There might be some other ones in there, but those are your major ones. The next level up, oh, and okay, to begin with, when you first join the SCA, you are considered landed gentry. You're not quite noble yet, but you're wealthy and you've got land, and so you're landed gentry. And you're my lord or my lady. When you get your AOA, your award of arms, you become lord or lady. So that's the first level. And then the next level is you become the Order of the Iris of Merit, the Order of the Star of Merit, and I just went blank, the Order of the Centurions, and you become Honorable Lord or Honorable Lady at that point in time. And then, of course, we have the top level, which are the peers, which is the Knights, the Pelicans, and the Laurels for the most part. And the well, they kind of fall, well, they aren't knights, they're the Order of Defense is the peerage level. So those are the basic levels, the 3 levels that you get awards for. And there are other awards within each one that there, you know, all kinds of things. There's children's awards that cover the arts and sciences, the service, the martial arts as well for the kids. So think in terms of those levels when it comes to the awards and award recs and recommendations and stuff like that. Now, I want to go over some of the hat descriptions that, and this is where I've got some images, so that you can kind of, when you look at somebody, kind of sort of maybe know what rank they are. Different kingdoms have different ideas of what you can wear at different ranks. So if it's somebody realizes from a different kingdom, they may have a different type of hat on that you may think is a ducal hat or something, and it's not. For them, that's just a baronial hat maybe. So, but these are the ones at Onstiora that we have. Let me see if I can find one to pull up for you. Find one of the, well, okay, just a second here. Most of the ones I got sent, I think, are higher ranking. Well, I think this is the closest one I've got. Okay, and let me find my share screen. Where did it go? Ah, there it is. Back over here to it. I told you I'm not good with tech. Well, Well, I guess I'm not going to be able to get that up there for you because I don't seem to be getting. Anyway, I'll just describe it to you. A baronial level hat is either, it's usually at least an inch wide, if not wider. They can wear the flat top hats if they want to. Otherwise, the other option they have is it comes up to points and they can have like one, I believe it's pearl at the top of each of a maximum, I think it is, of 6 points. And they have to be smooth curves. They can't be decorative. They have to be smooth. But those two are what a baronial hat is. If you are not a baron or baroness, whether court or landed, you cannot wear anything wider than a ½ inch. You can wear a circlet, what's called a circlet or a fillet, and they are no more than a ½ inch. And that's why when you get your AOA and they give you the little circlet, they aren't all that wide because you can't wear a wider one. Then the next level is a court count or countess, which also can be jarl, earl. My husband was from Poland, and his is Hrabia. So there are different titles for a baronial, for a court level, a count level. My mouth is not saying the right words. For the count level, and count and countess. Their hats have what's called embattled, which means they come up and they have or crenellation, which is they come across, come up and down. They can slant in, but they're flat topped crenellations or embattled. And that's what denotes a count or countess or jarl or earl or whatever title they use. The peerage or the ducal level has 3 strawberry leaves on them. Off the top of my head, I don't know if they're limited on how many they have. I think they are on how many they have around it, but it's the groups of 3 strawberry leaves. So if you see these hats, then if you can remember the strawberry leaves, embattled, and either plain or just simple curves, then you can kind of remember what rank they are. Now, as far as addressing them, the titles is for a baronial level and a county level is Your Excellency. For the ducal level, it's Your Grace. Now, if you forget what the hat they've got on and what it means, Your Excellency is the best term to use. If they're higher ranking than that, and it ticks them off that you said excellency instead of the grace, that's their issue, not yours. And they can correct you if they want to. But Your Excellency is the best address because it covers more people than Your Grace does. So that lets you know. Of course, then there's the highnesses, which are the prince and princess, excuse me, and their majesties. And I think most of y'all probably have seen those crowns. They're a little nicer, a little fancier. They usually have the black star somewhere prominently displayed on them as well. Except that our fancier kingdom crowns, I think, has the black star somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. Now let's go to actual court etiquette. Well, let me start out of court etiquette. If you see the king or queen or highnesses come by and they're within 10 feet of you, then you should at least do something to reverence the fact that you acknowledge they're there. Ladies, you curtsy, you do not bow. That is one of my biggest pet peeves, is seeing ladies kind of curtsy and bow. You do not stick your butt out. The only two caveats to that is if your knees are so bad, you absolutely cannot curtsy, or if you're doing a male persona. But otherwise, do not stick your butt out. When you curtsy, you go straight down, you go straight back up. And depending on the later the period, the further down you're supposed to go. Most people don't know that. That's okay. You go down as far as you're comfortable with. It's the fact that you've done at least a little bob when the king or queen or prince and princess come by within 10 feet of you. And the same thing if you go by, if you're running errands and stuff or running around a campsite, if you go by the kingdom pavilion and the thrones are sitting there, whether there's anybody there or not, and you're kind of within 10 feet of them, you give them a quick little bob and you can keep running. I have done the run, bob, run, you know, just a little dip and run, because you know, you're hurrying, especially if I'm being entourage, you know, then you're running an errand for them and you go by the kingdom pavilion. And so you do a little bob and keep running, you know, you do a little bow and keep running for the gentleman. So remember, don't stick your butt out, down and up. That, like I said, that's a pet peeve. So when you're outside of court, that's how you kind of maintain and address your fellow or your you know, higher up people, your prince and princess, king and queen. If you want to acknowledge somebody else that has a hat on that you know, kind of have an idea of their rank, you know, maybe they're a duke or duchess, maybe they're a count, countess, whatever. I mean, you can, but the ones that are most important are the king and queen, of course, and then their highnesses. In court, again, if you are called into court, and there's many reasons why you can be called into court, perhaps you're the autocrat, or you are running one of the little activities within the event and you need to come up and say, okay, these were our winners and here there's prizes or whatever. When you go up, again, when you're within approximately 10 feet of the thrones, you curtsy if you're a woman, you bow if you're a man. And then you either, you can say, with your permission, may I address your court? They'll say yes, and you turn around and you do your thing. And again, when you're leaving, you back away a couple steps, you do your curtsy, your bow, and then you can turn around and leave. So that's just kind of what you do. Don't stick your butt out if you're a female. That, like I said, is a pet peeve. Also, when you're in court, yes, we want to sometimes make little comments about whoever's getting what, or if something funny happens, you want to make a little comment to your friend sitting next to you. Make sure you keep it very quiet. I'm a little older. There are some other people who are a little older, or even not necessarily a little older, who still have a hard time hearing, even if they're sitting up front, because not a lot of people in court necessarily project so that everybody can hear. So you need to keep any kind of conversation really, really low. If you absolutely have to have a lengthier conversation, get up and move away, not just to the side, move further away, so that even though you're having a conversation and you're near court, you are far enough away that your conversation is not going to stop people from being able to hear and understand what is being said in court. Some of us like going to court. We like kind of that pomp and circumstance and seeing who's getting what and all that kind of stuff. So be polite in that respect. Show respect to the others, to everybody else, to those of us who have a little trouble hearing sometimes. So I hear okay, but sometimes I don't understand. The way I perceive sound, sometimes I don't understand. It's not that I don't hear them. So be polite. If you've got to have some kind of conversation, either get up and move away or keep it very, very quiet. The people who stand at the back of court or off to the side, but not all that far, and are speaking in their regular volume of voice drive me nuts, especially the guys with the deep voices that travel. or anybody who has that kind of voice that just carries. To me, that's just being rude. I like to sit up front so that I can hear, or near the front so I can hear and see I'm short, hear and see what's going on. Let's see, what else do I need to cover? Give me some ideas. What kind of things do you want to know about when it comes to court etiquette, and that kind of stuff? Does anybody have any specific questions?
I don't have a question, but I'd like to make an observation.
Okay.
I have noticed, not recently, but before we stopped having personal courts,
Right.
that the younger generation doesn't understand about if a woman is called into court, having an escort to take her up there, vice versa, waiting for her until she, or he gets done. It seems to be more of a rush in, get the award, and rush out.
You're right. You're right.
See it with the younger crowd coming in. The older ones of us, I mean, we know what to do, but it's like we need to take them by the hand and give them some education on it.
Right. You were correct. And that's a good point. If you're called into court, okay, let me give you my example. A few years ago when I got my Iris of Merit, I was sitting over someplace else, not with my husband or other people. And I stood up because they called my name to come into court. Well, I stood there and waited till the person that I knew was coming, until he got there, and I did not go into court alone. I was escorted into court, and then he waited for me and escorted me back out of court. So it's not like, I mean, yeah, we want to keep court moving, because otherwise sometimes they get very long when they're in person. I've noticed with the virtual courts, they can be fairly short because you don't have all of the having to wait for people to walk into court and that kind of stuff. But when it's a physical court, you need to wait for somebody. If you're female, wait for somebody to escort you. Even a male, it's nice for them to have someone escort them, their lady or a female friend or whatever. Now, I've seen a female get up and escort another female. I mean, it's no big deal, but it's nice for a lady to have a gentleman escort them into court. It's just a nice thing to do. So you're right, Kel. That is a really good point. I forgot about that aspect. But and you're right. A lot of people don't seem to be doing that anymore. So, like I said, I stood there and waited till my friend got there, and he escorted me up there. So remember, you don't have to rush up there to get the award. Take a moment, breathe, enjoy the moment, because every award you get is special because you've worked for it, hopefully. And I mean, occasionally they give awards that I think are really suspect, but that's not up to me, that's up to them. So just remember to take your time, let somebody escort you in. Yes, Kel?
One more thing, and so that this doesn't come across as wrong.
Okay.
If someone goes into court, I don't care if you're male, female, or whatever, just encourage your friend to escort you in, whether it is a male or a female, them, they, their, whatever.
Right.
Just because the pomp and circumstance of being escorted into court is another part of why going to court is so much fun.
You're right. Like I said, take your time. Yeah.
I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, take your time, let somebody escort you. Like she said, it's part of the pomp and circumstance of court. And it's actually kind of fun to be escorted, I think. I like the idea of having a gentleman escort me into court, especially if it's a friend that's good looking or whatever, So that's another thing. Anybody else have a question? I mean, basically, court etiquette is being polite. Knowing the hats maybe a little bit, although in a way that's not as important. Like I said, Your Excellency is the best address for anybody wearing a brass hat, because the majority of them are going to be Your Excellencies. Cynthia,
there's one more thing I'd like to add. When you go to a court that's of another kingdom, Pay
Mhm.
attention to their customs.
Yeah.
Because when I lived in Caid, it was huzzah. It was
Mhm.
not vivat.
Right.
So pay attention and follow the customs of the court that you're at.
That's right. Every kingdom is different. I was in Antir for a little while, and we went to one of their populace meetings, and their populace meeting is run more like Robert's Rules of Order rather than a court like we do ours. So yeah, every kingdom and every group is different, and you have to kind of pay attention. And again, that's part of court etiquette. It's paying attention and honoring the traditions and the ways that somebody else does things. I mean, because I know Houston probably, Sea Winds or Stargate or whatever probably does some things a little differently than we do up here in the north. You know, Namron probably does some things differently than Biesenfourier does. So every group has its own personality. So respect those traditions, respect what they do. Don't say, oh, well, that's wrong because when we do it this way, you know, in our group, there are those people who might do that. But you don't. You be polite and you respect the way they do it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I think is really important to cover. The main thing is, like I said, the hats. Anybody who has a brass hat on, unless you know for a fact it's the king and queen or the prince and princess, you'd address as your excellency, because most of them are going to be your excellency. There are not that many dukes and duchesses, and like I said, if you do know somebody's a duke or a duchess in that rank, then you would say your grace if you know that. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Use your excellency. I told you about the award levels. If you want to see the insignia of each award, if you're curious about that, you can go online to the Herald's page, and they have subheadings of different things that you can look up. And I think they have one that's got the insignia. They'll tell you the award, it'll show you the insignia, you know, and that kind of information. So you can, if you see somebody with that rainbow striped band on their left arm, you know they're a Star of Merit and they're honorable lord or honorable lady, that kind of thing. So if you want to familiarize yourself with what the different regalia is for the different levels, different ranks, different awards, that's where you can go. It's under the Herald's page.
And did you mention that if you don't know for sure, you refer to somebody as Milady or Milord unless you know for sure that they have the Armigerous Award?
Yeah, probably. If they go, oh, I've got my AOA, I'm Lady so-and-so, or I'm Lord so-and-so. Oh, excuse me. Okay, Lord so-and-so. Nice to meet you, whatever. A lot of our names are unusual to our ear. They sound strange to our ear. So if somebody comes up and says, I'm so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, and you're going, whoa, wait a minute. I have no idea what you just said. Would you please just give me your first name? Because that's a beginning. You know their first name now. If you want to, if you're at an event, keep a little notebook or some kind of way of noting, okay, so-and-so, if you want their information like email address or can I friend you on Facebook? Always ask, do you mind if I friend you on Facebook? Or do you mind if I have whatever kind of information from you? It's just, like I said, the main thing is be respectful and be polite. Like I said, also your curtsy and your bow when you're going into court, or if you're around, you know, certain people walk by you, the king, queen, of course, prince, princess. You can even acknowledge other people with hats on. If, like, you know, I have no hat. So if somebody walked by me with a hat on, like if Kat walked by and she had her hat on, I could, you know, at least acknowledge that I see her, that I know she is an excellency, you know, that she has rank, that I don't, you know. So, I mean, you can acknowledge anybody you want, just as long as a little head nod. But the king and queen and the prince and princess are the ones you really need to acknowledge when they go, if they're within like 10 feet or so of you. And like I said, when you pass the thrones, like I said, I have run by with a little bob and kept going. You can do it. So be polite, be considerate, ask permission if you want to do something. And we're all, most of us, we're all friendly. We want to talk about the things we love, the things we want to, the things that we do, the things that we love to do. So if you see somebody wearing something you particularly like, you can go up and go, excuse me, may I, ask you what period your dress is, or what period that is, or what time frame, or whatever country that's from. Just be polite and be respectful of the other people that that you're around.
The other thing I was going to add too is if you meet someone and it's their first event, maybe help them out a little bit and tell them about some of the stuff we're talking about, so that they feel a little less awkward at that event. Talk about, you don't want to bombard them with too much information, but but I think, talking about the hats, talking about the titles, bowing, the being quiet at court. And because if they have a bad experience at their first event because they just didn't know something, that's not going to make them want to come back a second time. So all of these things, I think pretty much most of us on here are pretty well seasoned, except for maybe a couple Scadians. So, at this point we should be helping out the new guys. So
Right. And there is so much to learn in the SCA. I mean, just from a day-to-day basis, when you're at an event, well, there's a person over there with a brass hat. How am I supposed to act? Or, am I allowed to do whatever? If you see somebody new who seems to be, isn't underneath somebody else's wing and being guided, especially, and there are some that show up that are just, they show up because they're interested and they've heard about us and they wanted to come. Talk to them. It's okay. Just go, okay, you look a little lost. Can I help you? And they're going, well, this is going on. What is that? And you can tell them, talk to them, tell them, okay, this is our combat. This is our arts and sciences. This is our tavern. Whatever it is, help them understand how to get through all of that morass of information that we have. I've been playing since 1985. So, and things are always changing. I'm always learning something new, whether it's something new about the SCA and how you act or whatever, or if it's something new about a new arts or science or whatever. I'm always learning something new. And things are always changing. So we get new laws or new whatever. And like the sumptuary laws, that's part of etiquette too. Like I said, a sumptuary law is if you're not baroness, baron, or higher, you only wear no more than a ½ inch wide fillet or circlet. Lost my train of thought now. So just stay, you're learning things all the time. Oh, and also sumptuary laws, that's what I was talking about. Only the white belt is banned from anybody else wearing it but a knight.
I would have to say a solid white belt, because you can wear a belt that has white in it.
Yes.
Yeah. I was confused about that over 25 years ago, and somebody I was like, oh, but I want white in it. Oh no, you're fine wearing the white. You just can't wear solid white.
Right. You were correct. You cannot wear a solid white belt unless you were a knight. If somebody tries to tell you, oh, you can't wear red, or you can't wear yellow, or you can't wear green, or whatever, because those symbolize, proteges or apprentices or whatever, that's not in the laws. That's sort of tradition, but it's not in the laws. You can wear a red belt if that's what you want to with your outfit. You can wear a yellow belt, a green belt, a blue belt, whatever.
You can, but I caution new people that when you wear that, expect to get the question, who's your knight if it's a red belt? Who's your laurel if it's a green belt? Who's your publican if it's a yellow belt? So just be prepared and know that probably a lot of people are going to ask you that.
Right, right. But like I was saying, yes, there are sumptuary laws. Onstiora in particular does not have very many. So I think some kingdoms have a few more than we do, but we don't have many. The white belt and the hat thing, and what style of hat you wear for what rank you are. Those are, unless Kat can tell me some others, those are the only real sumptuary laws that I know of in Onstiora. Okay, so let's see if I'm trying to think if there's anything else about conducting yourself in and out of. Like I said, the main things are being respectful and considerate and, you know, that sort of thing. In court, you know, don't talk unless you keep it very quiet and brief. If you've got to have a conversation, leave court. If you're female, do not stick your butt out at the court. Just curtsy, unless you can't. Your knees won't let you. Gentlemen bow, and you might, you know, look into, if you're a gentleman, you might look into what form of bowing did they do in your period and place. Some were very flourishy, like in the Italians around, I think, the 1400s, maybe early 1500s. They would doff their feathered caps and bow and, you know, be very showy about it. Some places it was walk up and put your fist to your chest and that's it. So it depends on where you're from, as for the men especially, as to what form your reverence, what's called reverence to the crown, would take. So you can always do research on that. I'm trying to think what else. Is there any other questions or thoughts or anything? Because I mean, I haven't even covered 45 minutes here. I think that's
really okay. I mean, it doesn't have to go the full hour, you know. I'm serious. My last class was only like 30, 40 minutes, and several people's have been that way. So yeah, it's fine. I mean, if you've covered what you need to cover and people don't have questions, it's all good.
I think that's what I have to say. Talked about the levels of the awards. I've talked about the hats. I've talked about how to conduct yourself in and out of court, how to address people. As far as court etiquette goes, that's about where it's at, you know. So I guess I'm done.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you volunteering to teach, and I appreciate everybody else throwing their thoughts out there too. That's always a great thing. So, and thanks everyone else for attending. I will get the video posted. It'll probably be tomorrow, but I will get the video posted for those that were not able to attend. So, everybody have a good night, and we will talk to you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.